Ray and I, when we get together, this is a discipleship thing for us too. Like our
Mhm.
conversations, like we lean in, right? Like this is not just
Yes.
us sitting down and playing games. We talk about our walks, we talk about our struggles, we talk about what's going on,
Yeah.
and work through things in life. Like so I value that time. So again, it's not just us trying to sit down and learn 3 games. It's a full night of conversation, of walking through
Fellowshipping
things.
together.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so there's all of that that's happening and at play. And so eventually your brain just kind of hits a point where it's like, I cannot input any more information, so try again tomorrow.
Hey, what's up, CBG fam? Thanks for tuning into this episode. As always, we are brought to you by our sponsors. That is Fearless Nonprofit. Fearless Nonprofit is a growing outreach ministry that seeks to fearlessly treat the world in a way that encourages love, family, and faith in Jesus. And very exciting, out now is their biblically based trading card game, Victory 7. Yes, the one that we have been talking about is available now. So if you want to learn more about this ministry, or if you'd like to pick up the game, go to fearlessnonprofit.org. We also are sponsored by Camp Living Waters, the one, the only Camp Living Waters located in Luther, Michigan, that is home of the Game Changer Board Gaming Retreat. Man, they have so much to offer there, and it's an amazing place to get away in God's presence. So if you want to learn more about them or sign up for a retreat, check them out at camplivingwaters.org. You can follow both of our sponsors on their socials on Facebook and Instagram. Huge shout out and thank you to our sponsors.
Welcome to the Christian Board Gamers Podcast, where we focus on Jesus, community, and board games. Let's have some fun.
What is up? Welcome to the Christian Board Gamers Podcast, proud members of the Love Thy Nerd Podcast Network. We are so excited to be here. This is the day that the Lord has made. May we rejoice and be glad in it. What is up? What is up? What is up? Let's go. I am joined, as always, by my dear brother, Ray. Ray, how you doing today?
What's
Let's get it.
happening, Joe? I'm doing great, man. Good morning to you, sir. Top of the morning. I got
Yeah.
my cup of tea here.
Oh,
And yeah, we're
cup of
feeling
tea.
good this morning. Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It's
Is
a
it a
cup of
spot of
tea.
tea? A cup of
Yeah,
tea. I've got
yeah,
my.
and little biscuit upstairs, yeah, eh? No,
Okay,
man, it's
chalk that up for the worst British impersonation of all time.
that was Scottish, that's why.
Scottish, yeah. My
Yeah,
bad. I couldn't
it's
tell.
a little
I
bit.
honestly was thinking it was New York for a minute. I don't know what was going on there.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
doing good this morning, man. I'm as
Good.
always excited to be here, ready to
Yeah.
record this fun-filled episode that we have packed for the audience today. Uh, I got so quick story, man. We
Okay.
talked about my chickens, and
Yeah.
so I started with 15 at the beginning of summer. I'm down to 5, actually 4. We have 4 chickens, like in a matter of like 6 weeks. Like it's just
What?
wild how in the animal kingdom everything loves chicken. Like chicken is delicious to everything. It's like the dogs next door, are like, hey, they got chickens over there, and the raccoons are like, hey, I'm having chicken tonight. So I have 15 chickens inside, right next to me in my basement here, that I am raising up. There's like these little chicks next to me that just keep chirping, and yeah, it's a great morning, man. So I just thought I'd throw that out there because why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, because that's normal. Most people have like when they're recording, you're like, hey, you know what? I got 15 chickens right up over here,
They're
just
so
chilling,
cute. They're so
just
cute,
just
man.
chilling with
Yeah,
me.
so cute.
Love that. Yeah. So you're drinking tea. I'm drinking decaf. That kind of puts us in the old people category, but that's all right
Hmm.
though.
Yeah.
We are recording at a different time. Normally we record in
Yes.
the evening. We're recording in the morning, which we've done a couple times, and historically it has not always been good. So if you want to get out of the episode, now would be the time. Otherwise, just continue to rock with
You,
us.
hey, you want to know a fun fact? Maybe you already know this, but the first time that we ever did video,
Yeah.
we recorded at, well, actually, before I say that, it was our most watched video as well.
Yeah.
Our most watched video was our
Yeah.
very first video that we did on YouTube, and
Yep.
we recorded at 7 a.m.
Yep.
and we interviewed
Yeah.
the Tom Vassell,
Yep. Yeah. I
and we
remember.
both walked away feeling like, man,
We blew it.
wow.
We were like, let's never record in the morning again.
Let's
That
never
was
record at 7
awful.
a.m. again, but here we
Here
are,
we are
man. This
recording
is
at 7
it's
a.m.
great.
We're like, that was horrible. What just happened? My sound was all out of whack. Like,
Oh my gosh, I was watching it and it sounded like I was in a cardboard box and I had a potato for a microphone and
yeah,
the
yeah,
lighting was
right.
terrible. My games, I think I basically the only game I had on my shelf was Monopoly at the time. It was just
Dude,
so I
yeah,
don't
we
know,
got
man.
the Tom Vassell on there, and we're like, hey, let's make this the worst episode we can possibly make, because everyone's gonna watch it, and
Yeah,
let's get no
yeah.
repeat watchers. All right,
Yeah.
let's go.
Most of our videos hit around 50 or 60
Yeah,
views.
yeah, yeah.
That one had almost 700
700.
and it was terrible. It
If
was
you
terrible.
Now, I will say this: if you are listening and you would like the first introduction that you had with us was that episode, kudos to you. We want to
Oh,
thank you for rocking with us,
yes.
seeing the potential that we had,
Yes.
being like, you know what, these guys aren't there; they got potential. I just thank you for that, and we hope that we
Mm.
have lived up to the potential that you thought that we had, because we are trying. And you know, and every time I send over an episode, we have Radio Matt from LTN who
Mm.
puts the rest of it together. It's like I'm always like, "Hey Matt, you know, we're almost there. We're almost there. We're almost there. We're gonna get it. We're gonna figure it out, man."
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I can only imagine what he has to deal with. Well, actually, I
Right.
don't even have to imagine. Sometimes he sends us a message and he's like, "What's going?"
And sorry to Tom Vassell for bringing you in at that
Yeah,
level.
yeah,
But thank you for coming on our
yeah.
show.
No
And
doubt.
it was amazing. And he's
Yeah,
an amazing person and does some awesome things in the
yeah,
space and is a
yeah.
wonderful Christian. And
It's
it was
still,
a joy. But
yeah, it was a
yeah,
good episode.
wow.
Still, it was still fun. I mean,
Oh
like,
yeah,
it
absolutely.
was just, I think we were a little like, do we really have Tom Vassell on? And are we really recording at 7 a.m.? And do we really have any idea what we're doing? Like, no.
And it was
No.
on the back end after not recording for like months. So then it
Yeah.
was like we didn't. Yeah. Hey,
We we
we you
actually
learn.
we actually made a rule with ourselves that literally stated that we will not have a guest on if like, so our first episode of each season, we're not going to start with an interview because we need to like get back in, because you take a small break. Like LTN has us take a pause for like a month and a half.
Yeah.
And we're like, we're never gonna bring a guest on in that like first episode. Just like we have to
Mm-mm.
get back into the flow of
Mm-mm.
things.
Ain't
So
doing
yeah,
it.
ain't doing it. Now again, we say that, and who knows what happens. But
Yeah. Yeah.
the goal is that we're not gonna do that. But we do want to. Man, this is good. This is good. We haven't like, yeah. Welcome to this morning. And so like Ray said, we have a jam packed episode. I'm not sure what it's packed with, but it's gonna be awesome.
Jam.
Jam. Naturally. And so we do want to say that, again, point back to the cbglootdrop@gmail.com. This is where you can send us games you want us to play for that It's Your Turn section. We went through it finally. We've got some games coming up that we're going to be playing, getting some new things to the table. Actually, one of which Ray's played, one of which I've played, and then there's some other things in there that we're excited to explore. And so, yeah, CBG Loot Drop, you can drop in those It's Your Turn games. And then also, if you have a tabletop testimony, right? How is God moving at
Mm.
your table? How is God moving
Mm-hmm.
in the space in your world? We want to hear these things, and we want to be able to share
Yes.
them. And again, we've even talked about it. Like, if you got a really dope story, we would invite you onto the podcast to share it if you would so want to do so.
Yes.
And you don't even have to stay on the whole time. You just come in, do your little bit, and then get out, right? Like, totally like professional, awesome. It's going to be super good. So, yeah, that's what I don't know what I'm talking about. Cool. Tabletop testimony. We'd love to hear these stories. Again, cbglootdrop@gmail.com. That's the current email address you can use, cbglootdrop@gmail.com. For all y'all who have submitted stuff, thank you so much. We truly
Mm-hmm.
appreciate it. And we're excited to get some of these games to the table. So, speaking of that, man, Ray and I got to play a few games, but we're not there just yet. We're not fully going to talk about those because that's kind of our whole main segment. And our planning for this morning's episode was just hit record and see what happens.
And here we
And
are
here we are. And that's what we're doing. So,
with my
Ray,
spot of tea.
let me get my biscuit. All right. So prior to the games that you and I got to the table, because I'm excited
Yeah.
to talk about those, have you played
Yeah.
anything else as of late? Is there?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, we had some friends come in town and stay with us over the earlier this week, over a few days, and we had a game night. It's been rainy up here in Michigan, a
Mm-hmm.
little bit cold, and perfect for gaming. And so we hung out in the basement, man, and we just played kind of just some basic party games. They're not real big gamers, but we did get a game of Flip 7 in,
Mhm.
which they had a great time with. The Press Your Luck game that's on my shelf back here, and that one was pretty fun. Actually, I do have to talk about it. My wife was like, "Hey, are you going to talk about this on the podcast?" Because the first round of Flip 7. Now you guys have heard me talk about Kim is not a huge gamer. There's some games that she doesn't like. Some of these party games though, she gets into, and
Mm.
especially her friends were here. Dude, she crushed us. I mean, the score. So we played a 200, right? It
Mhm.
was like I had 0. Uh, the other guy, he had 25.
Okay.
His wife, she had like 26. Nobody scored over 30. Kim had 236 points.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Like she just crushed us, and she was like gloating and like, "Yeah, this game is great. You guys want to play again?" And yeah, so we played a couple rounds of that. It was fun, good time.
The
We also
second
got
time
in.
she played, she got like 1 point. And she's
Yeah,
like, "This
she
game's
was.
awful. I hate
She
this."
actually was getting beaten. Yeah, she did kind of have that attitude, but she came back and almost win though. So
That's
it
awesome.
was fun. And then we actually got some Mantis in. We played a few rounds of Mantis, which was a fun little party game as well. Easy to pick up. We've talked about that one before.
Mhm.
So actually, those are the only two that we were able to get to the table because we got in some really good conversation
Mm.
about faith and theology, man. And so
Nice.
it was a good time, time well spent. But yeah,
That's what's
so
up.
some light games were played.
Yeah. Dope, dude.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. Yeah, I have been enjoying kind of those lighter games and playing some of them with my family recently. A little bit different, not fully the party game, but necessarily not heavy games, right? So again, I've
Mm-hmm.
got small children, and so we've been playing a lot of Century Golem, which was out of like the Century Spice Road series and stuff. And it's just a really fun game where you're just trying to get gems, upgrade gems, and you basically purchase golems. It reminds me a lot of Splendor. I don't know if I've
Mm.
talked about it on a recent episode or not, but we have really enjoyed this one as a family because all of us can play it. Like in my 6-year-old, like everyone's playing it. And the concept is very, again, it's simple. It's just I collect the gems, I then play, or play these cards to try to upgrade these gems or trade gems in to get other gems in order. So it's like this cool little puzzle to be able to
Mhm.
match the gems necessary to buy the golem.
Yeah.
Just like in Splendor, when you're collecting the gems, you're trying to, make your cards so that you have more gems in the future, and then you can buy higher point cards and all that, right? So
Mhm.
similar kind of vibe, but really like it. And so we've had a lot of fun with that. And so like even the other day, we do a morning Bible study. Right now the rhythm's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we do a morning Bible study. And then after that, like I was like, hey, let's just play a game. Let's hang out for another 30 or so minutes, because these games can be pretty
Yep.
quick, and just play a game after the Bible study. And so we were playing Century Golem the other day and just really loving it and enjoying it.
Nice.
Another game, excuse me, that uh was a lot of fun. I played it actually at the Holy Grounds board game fundraiser for the first time. An owner of Voss Media Board Game Cafe out here in Galesburg, Dion, he kept telling me about it in his shop, and then he just didn't have it. He's like, oh man, you got to check out this game. He's like, oh, but I don't have it in stock. But here I have a demo copy, so let me show you the game. So he's like showing me. I'm like, but Dion, you don't have the game here. He's like, no. I'm like, well, and he and I wasn't gonna. That's not one. When I have a conversation like that with the store owner in particular, it's not one I'm just getting on Amazon. I'm gonna wait till he gets it.
Right.
And so I went down and picked it up from him. And of course, when I get there, he's like, dude, the expansion just came in. Look at it. And I was like, ah. Okay, Dave, got me, because the game's just really fun. Because he and I actually did get to play it at the Holy Grounds fundraiser. He came and we played, and the game itself is super cool. Like you're basically a barista, you're trying to fulfill orders, and the pieces and the components are awesome. But the game is
Mhm.
called Coffee Rush. So like you're trying to like get this thing, and customers are ticking down. And if they get to the bottom of your player mat, and then the next round, they're gonna fall off and they're gonna be angry customers. The
Mhm.
whole game is built around that because the game ends when one person gets 5 angry customers, and then everyone completes the round, and that's it. You start totaling up your points. So it's a low
Nice.
scoring game, right? Like it's going to be
Yeah.
like a 6 or 5 or 4 or 3, right?
Yep.
because you're going to get points for the customers you completed, and upgrades and those kind of things. And you have to spend completed customers to upgrade. And so it's going to cost you a point. So you like, do I want to upgrade my player board to be able to do more things? Really cool puzzle. You move this little worker around, and as you're moving through, you're collecting these resources that these coffee things like cream and steam and ice and water and coffee and chocolate and caramel. And you have these 3 little cups, and that's really, really, the components are amazing, especially for the price point. And you're dropping them in. Once something is in a cup, though, it is in a cup, so you can't like dump. Like you're like, oh, so now I've messed up because I put something in here that I don't have any cards for. But then you can dump them out, but you lose all those ingredients, and that's not fun.
Yeah.
Excuse me. See, it's early sinuses. Yeah. And so you have these coffee cups, right? But every time somebody completes an order, the 2 players to the left are going to get new customers. And so like things start flooding. And so like you just keep getting customers. So it's like, oh no, like now I'm getting more customers. And then if you complete specialty orders, you have these rush tokens and you can actually move more, because normally you have 3 moves you can do, and you have to move orthogonally, right? So up, down, left, or right, and you're trying to get these resources, but there's only like 1 water, and there's only 1 chocolate and 1 caramel and 1 tea leaf, right? Because tea is on there as well. And so then you want to upgrade your player. Yep, you want to upgrade your player board to be able to move diagonally, because then you can get to things faster. And so like, and then you want to upgrade your player mat so that you get 2 of the specialty items instead of 1 when you're there. And so it's like this constant tension in the game, and it just like happens so quickly, and it's a lot of fun, man.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. Yeah, I think you would really like it.
Well, I got to take a look at the game when I was over one day, and you showed me the components and kind of explained it. Does, like, you're right, the components are super nice, especially like you said for the price point there, and laid out very well. The artwork looks good, and so I think that's one that I would enjoy. For some reason, you talking about like getting more customers and everything getting backed up made me think of the episode of I Love Lucy when they're doing the chocolate in the factory, and it's like, they just start stuffing it in their hat and they're eating it and everything, because the guy comes in and he's like, oh, you guys are doing good, here, we'll make it go faster then, and then it's just like out of control,
chaos.
Yeah, I don't know why that popped
I
in my
think
head,
that's
but
exactly what they based the game off of. That scene.
It sounded like it. Yeah, it sounds exactly the same. They just ripped off the idea and
just made it coffee.
Yeah, made it coffee. Yeah, exactly.
No, I haven't played the expansion yet, but the expansion is called Piece of Cake, and it's got these cool little cake pieces, and just really cool. Like for the price point, again, the components are stellar. And just a lot of fun. My boys picked it up, right? Because there's not even a lot of reading. There's symbols, and you're just like, oh, but it's a puzzly game. Like my oldest at one point was like, oh my goodness, he's like, I need this, but I can't get over there, and so how am I going to do this? And you have to kind of tell him, because he's like holding on. He's like, I don't want to lose customers.
Yeah, right.
And it's like, hey, I hear you, but you almost have to lose customers, right? Like, it's okay, because like I cannot fulfill that, so I need to focus 1 tier higher, because there's 4 slots. I need to focus on 3 because I'm not getting 4, and that means I might lose a customer or 2. But if I lose them, I get rush tokens, right? Which is nice. So it's like when you complete a specialty order, you get a rush token, and when you lose a customer, you get a rush token. And so I'm like, well, that's going to give me more movements to be able to do more things, because you can complete as many coffees as you can on 1 order. You have 3 cups and you're trying to fill them. So you really want to be strategic of how you're doing it. And so like, my middle son was like, he kept trying to fill orders up in like slot 1. I'm like, bro, like you have like 4 more turns before you actually have to get that coffee cup, right? Like, or 3 more turns. Like, that's okay. To like, you want to focus down here, and then things kind of started to click for him. He's like, oh, I want to get these ones because they become bad customers. And he's 7. He's like working through it, and he's like, so he's like, oh, okay.
I think he's doing okay.
No doubt. And so he's like, he just wants to fulfill orders, but like, then you're going through, and then, we're sitting down, and my wife's at the table. She's playing with us. So I always tell my boys, like, hey guys, like, do as well as you can. Your mommy's probably going to pull one of these like, oh, I haven't quite picked up the game yet, and still beat us. And Asher's at the point now. You're like, yep, that's going to happen because that's what mom does. So
he's seen it so many times, he knows. Yes.
And this was her first time playing. Rule of thumb in our household is, and doesn't matter whether it's a game night or who's over here or where we're at, if Stephanie is playing a game for the first time, she is going to win. I would argue if I went through my BG stats that would be almost true 97% of the time. It's this amazing thing that she has. She may never win again, but she will always win that first time.
She should only play games one time, the first time, and never play them again. She would have an amazing record.
Yeah, well, you'd be surprised. She still does well generally, but she wins the first game almost all the time.
Yeah.
So we've been having a ton of fun with Coffee Rush.
That's cool.
And again, been playing a lot of Sagrada recently. And my wife and I really like that game, and we also like it because we can play as 2-player very quickly. It does not take long to play with a 2-player game, which is just a lot of fun there. And I want to talk more about this when you and I actually get a chance to play it.
Yeah, I'm excited to play because it looks beautiful.
Oh, there's that, yeah.
And there's dice.
Yeah, there are dice, which is definitely up your alley. Yeah, and again, it's a game I think that even Kim would get into because it's puzzly, but it's accessible and it's fun. But no, what I was actually going to say was Ember Heart. And so Ember Heart is a game I don't want to talk too much about right now. I want to talk more about it when we actually sit down and play and can walk through it.
Yes. Yeah.
I am loving.
I'm excited about that one. Yeah,
Yeah.
you walked me through it and showed me, and that's another one that looks right up my alley. There, I heard my baby saying hi this morning upstairs. So sorry,
No,
caught me by surprise.
You were like,
yeah. Dad mode just kicked in. Like, wait, do I need to go? Oh no, my wife is here. She's not by herself. Don't worry. Or the cats are taken care of. One of the two. That's
the overlords are like, you will feed the baby now.
Yeah. They're probably giving her tea. I don't know.
Yeah, that's completely normal. Yeah. So Ember Heart, we're not going to talk a ton about it right now, but I will tell you right now, spoiler alert, love the game. It is so good. Played it recently with my oldest and my wife, and we had a blast. And of course, again, my wife won. She smoked us, even though I had already played it. I had already played it before. But when I'm doing a teaching game, I don't play like pedal to the metal. I want people to understand it and have fun.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say
great
that.
Teacher.
Yeah. So I lost because I wanted, to really make sure that they got the full experience. But we had a great time.
Yeah.
So good. We'll talk about it on a future episode. Just a lot of fun and all that stuff. And so, yeah, after these messages, we'll be right back. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I just want to take a brief moment here to discuss my new book, Reclaiming the Table for Jesus. See, I believe that our homes are ministry vehicles, and our tables and our board games are tools that can be used to reach people for Christ. See, when we open up our homes, when we do life with each other, this can be used in both discipleship and evangelism. We can grow together in Christ, but also as we invite people in who don't know Jesus, they can begin to see us live our life, relationships begin to form, trust is built, and then, Lord willing, we have this opportunity to proclaim the good news of Christ as we get to be the hands and feet of Jesus in these scenarios. It's not about perfection. It's not about performance. It's about presence, and that we would use our homes in such a way. So again, Reclaiming the Table for Jesus is my first book. It's out now. I pray that it's a blessing. It's a quick read. It's intended to be read, digested, and applied. You can find it on Amazon in paperback and in Kindle format. But again, just really excited about what God's doing in this space, and I can't wait to see how he uses games in your home to reach people for Jesus. You can find it on Amazon. Appreciate you. Now back to the episode. Peace. Cool. Welcome back. This is so good. All right. Yeah. All right, dope. So, hey, Ray and I actually, we have had a couple games that we've wanted to get to the table that are faith-based games that some individuals in the Christian Board Gamers group had sent us, and we just hadn't had time to really sit down and play them. But we were able to do that. But then we actually had a third game in the interim, come in as well, and we were actually able to get all three games to the table. And so we want to talk about these games and the topic of faith-based games in general, and just have a little bit of a El Comunicado about that. So, let's see. I don't know. I don't have a particular order set out. I have them sitting next to me here, but
we should just go in the order that we played them. I think Judah, Line of Judah was the first one.
Line of Judah was the first one. Yeah, and this is
just to be clear, it is not Lion
nope.
of Judah. It is Line of Judah.
Line.
Yes.
Yes, that is
Yes.
that is very clear. Ray's notes for this were quick teach, quick play, right
Yeah.
on time. Yep, those are
Actually, they were short teach,
short
short
teach, short
turn,
turn, short play.
short play.
Yeah, short
Yeah.
teach, short turn, short play. Yeah, right. Because those are the kind of notes that we have come to really value and love out
Yes.
of what Ray has done here. They're very profound.
Yeah.
Um,
In depth when you dig into them.
yeah. But
Mhm.
Line of Judah by Gospel Games. I love the name of the company. Obviously, they're not hiding anything here. It's gospel games, right? It's good
No.
news games, man. We know that the good news of Jesus Christ is the best news. So gospel games, Line of Judah. Ray, I want to kind of just talk through your experience. We played this one a couple times.
Mhm.
The first time we played through, we were like, okay, cool, getting a feel for the game, and then the second time, I think since we had a better understanding,
Yeah.
what were your thoughts on this one?
Initially, so it's a tableau builder. Essentially, you have cards with numbers on them and different people in the line of Jesus, uh, biblically accurate. And so they're numbered from anywhere from 1 all the way to 50, Jesus being that 50 piece. And what you're trying to do is essentially get these and make runs the best you can. However, you have limited space on how many cards you can hold. You can hold up to 3, like hold them, but then as you build your line, you have to put them out. And so you don't always get to have them in consecutive order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep.
And so you end up with gaps like 1, 2, 10, 11, 12, 13, 22, 27, 49, 48. And the scoring goes for any runs that you have over 3, you will gain points, and your longest one, so you'll kind of add up, and any gaps you're going to get some minus points. And so essentially you want to create the longest line of consecutive numbers that you can, and it's not always easy. And
Yeah.
so initially I did not understand that, and I was like, oh yeah, so you're kind of randomly flipping over a card and it has a number and you're like, oh yeah, 48, I'll take that. That seems, yeah, fine, whatever. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
the next one you're forced into a 2. And then you're like, oh man, but then you can also like you can purchase you get the what are your purchase tokens there?
You have these seed tokens, and
Seed tokens,
yeah, and
yes.
so like there's a family tree that's in there, and you can obtain one of the ones in the line from either yourself or someone
Mm,
else, and so you can pay like seeds, and the seedsman will also help you with final scoring, which is cool. So you can use seeds to close any gaps. So if you had
mm-hmm.
like 1, 2, 3, and then you had maybe 7, 8, 9, you could use the seeds to complete that chain. So you could go 1, 2, 3, and then a seed is 4, a seed is 5, a seed is 6, and then you had 7, 8, 9. So now you have this chain. So you're not going to get negative points in that. Now it's not going to be part
Right.
of your longest runs that you're scoring, but you're not going to lose negative points for your gaps and that kind of stuff. And so
Yeah.
the seeds serve multiple purposes, and they have a fertile soil card, and it's built based on player count how this one works. But in a 2 to 4 player game, it's this, and so seeds are going to be on the fertile soil card, and you can take that. So one of your actions is take the seeds from the fertile soil. So that would allow you to be able to obtain other. Other people in the
Ancestors.
line, and then
Mm-hmm.
yep, and then also be able to do the end game scoring stuff.
Yeah. Some
I
things that I
tried.
really liked were well now you're gonna have a tree growing in your basement.
I know, right?
Um what the things that I really liked were one of the things, the theme is awesome.
Yep.
I like the game and how it's made out of the line of Jesus and how it's so accurate. So each card has like Abraham and it says something about Abraham, who he was and kind of what the Bible says about him. And
Yeah.
so each one it's actually okay. I shouldn't say okay. It's a almost a way to learn the genealogy of Jesus in a way because you don't always know all the
Yeah.
people who lead up to Jesus, right? And so as we're playing, I was kind of like, oh, I didn't realize that this person was a king in the line of
Yeah.
Jesus, and so that was a
Yep.
fun little takeaway from the game, I thought. Um, the other thing is at first I was like, oh man, this is kind of simple. And then it was so random that I almost didn't like it because I was like getting caught with, I
Yeah.
would get, like 35, 36. but then I would get 2, 3, 4, and there was just huge gaps. And I was like, dude, this is impossible. Like, how can I make? But meanwhile, you're over there and you're making a run of like 1 through 80. And I was like, there's not even 80 cards in here. How are you doing this? And they're all consecutive. You don't need any seats. You're just crushing it. And I'm like, what is going on? So,
Yeah.
um, but as it got further to the end, I'll say it got more puzzly and strategic, and I started understanding
Yeah.
how to put my ancestors in the holding space and then purchase them and kind of use that
Yep.
tool to create the runs as necessary. So I think after we played it the first time, I had that better understanding, and then the second
Yep.
time
Yep.
I actually enjoyed it a little bit more because I could see like, okay, I probably don't want to put a 35 down in my line and then take a 1 because it's going to be super hard to try to
Right.
connect that. And so I need to find a way to kind of push this off.
Yep.
So yeah, I think it's fun. I would, that's one that I would break out. Like if, the same situation we're here early in the week where we had friends over, I'd
Yep.
be like, hey, check out this game. Let's play it. I think it's a fun, quick game to play with friends. And overall, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, yeah, no, awesome. I can echo everything you said. And then also another way to get the seed cards is through the king cards. When you play a king card, you can get a seed card or a seed, which is really nice. But yeah, the key is that holding, like the family tree part, because once I would look at yours and I would be like, well, Ray needs that, and I could put it in holding. Like I don't need it, but Ray does, so that's gonna get me some seeds, and so like he's gonna have to
Yep.
buy them from me, right? There's no question because he's really like. But then that might cause you to pivot and be like, I'm not even going to worry about that. Actually, I'm
Yep.
now going to go this direction or whatever because I put it in my 3 spot and that's going to be the most expensive. The only thing I will say is you said there's 50, but there's actually 51. Jesus is
Oh,
51.
yeah. Sorry.
Nope,
Yes.
that's okay. I was pretty impressed that you got 50 because I was like, was there 50? I was like, oh my gosh. Like, okay, so 51.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's running all the way through Adam at number 1. I can't even see. That's the glare of lights. But yeah, no, I agree. I think all of that's there. There is definitely a luck piece to it, but which is why I think the seed tokens are so important. Why that,
Right.
like, because at first you're like, why am I like, I mean, I get it to buy things, but oh yeah, no, I really need to get into that fertile soil and take those seeds because if I have a plethora of seeds, one, my options are now way more open, and
Yeah,
it allows me to not focus on certain runs and be like,
right.
okay, you know what? I'm probably not going to get that. And what makes it even more random is like player count, like you're removing certain cards, like you're removing
Mm-hmm.
cards. It forces you into that to have a strategy of like you're not going to be able to just get a smooth run here. You're going to
Yep.
have to figure out how to actually do that. And so really definitely uh has some strategy, but is
Yeah.
for sure a luck driven game. But there
Yep.
but there is definitely a strategy
Yep. Yep.
to it, and you definitely it's kind of one of the things I thought was a little weird, if I'm remembering correctly. Because unlike you, I didn't take any notes. With Jesus, if you don't connect him, if he's
Yeah.
not connected, like he's a
He's
lot
he's
minus
he's
five
minus
or
three.
3.
He's minus three versus the other ones are -1 for each
Right,
one. So
right,
yeah, it's you better put Jesus in your line or else you're
yeah,
gonna be penalized. Just
yeah.
like life, man. You better have
You better
Jesus
have
in your
Jesus in
heart
your
or
life.
else you're
Yeah,
gonna be penalized when it comes that time. So
fair enough.
it's, yep,
Yep, but
yep,
that
yeah.
was the I'm like, oh, because that's tough. If you end up, you're like, oh, I mean, I'm definitely not putting Jesus, and I'm gonna put him on my line, right?
Hmm.
I'm not gonna
Yeah.
like, and
So
so then
that's
it,
what that's what got me because like
yeah,
it was like my turn. I flip over Jesus. I'm like, well, I'm taking Jesus. I want
yep,
Jesus in my tableau in my lineage, right?
no
Like it.
doubt,
Yeah. Who doesn't want to take Jesus? But
right?
then it ended
It
up
costed
costing
you,
me
yep,
because I was unable to connect them, and so I had to have minus
yep,
points. But
yep, and
yeah.
that, yeah, and so again, there's some definite strategy. I was glad we played it a couple times because I felt like that helped,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Because like you
Yep.
said, at first it's a little bit of luck, but I mean, I think early on I was like, oh, okay, I think I see it, I got it, but really enjoyed coming back and playing again.
Yep.
Would definitely recommend this. Like Ray said, this is a good filler game. Like it's not going to take you a long time. You can play it with people quickly. It's a quick teach.
Mm-hmm.
The scoring might take you a minute to figure out, but excuse me. Outside of that, I would definitely recommend it. If you're looking for a short filler game that actually has some really cool, like Ray said, faith-based content, they even like add little blurbs on each card, right? So it like kind of gives you some context and tells you who this person is in the line, which is really fun.
Yep.
But yeah, it says here it says 30 minutes. Now that would probably be at top play count. That'd be at 5 players. I could totally
Right.
see that being the case. We
Yep.
played it with 2 players. It did not take us that long at all. I think we were
No.
done 15, maybe 20 minutes for the second
Yeah.
one in particular because we knew what we were doing. We were
Yep.
able to play
Yep.
very, very quickly. But it's satisfying. I mean, I
Yep.
walked away like, yeah, you know what? That's a fun little game. I'll break that out with my kids. We'll play that for sure.
Yep.
And you know, so I would definitely say Line of Judah, gospel games, thumbs up. We had fun with it. We enjoyed it. And again, it's a filler game. It's not the brain burner. It's not the game of the night, but it's definitely a game that can get things started. So kudos to them. I thought that was a creative game. I thought that was
Agreed.
a
Agreed.
definite fun. The next one that we have here is a game called 12. This is actually a prototype. This is not the final or anything, but it's 12 Disciples Edition, which makes sense, right? And man, this is by Rosh Games, designed by Stephen Foster. Stephen and I have become friends over the years here. Stephen's actually been designing the solo mode for Victory. He is a very talented designer. This dude just got a creative way about him. He thinks in ways that not everyone thinks, and so. I think this, and we'll talk here in a second, but I think 12 has boat tons of potential, to be honest with you. For this little pack, again, it's a filler game, but this one's got a little bit more of the brain scratching, a little bit more of the brain burning going on here. And it's a really unique take on a take that tableau builder, right? Like there's just some dynamics here. And again, when we're playing a prototype, not all the kinks are ironed out. I now have, like, after Ray and I played, I got an updated rule book, which is cool because we had some questions and all that kind of stuff. I've got an official, like, updated rule book. But even with taking that into consideration, this was a lot of fun.
Yes, it was.
And when we were playing it, we were kind of like, man, this feels a little bit like an activity. And then we realized we were doing something crucially wrong. And we're like, oh, wait, we
It's
can't
like, this
do
game is
that.
so easy, man.
Yeah,
That's
like,
just,
we can just put it
whoever
all
gets
out.
the first number is gonna win, basically. And
Right.
it was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, because you can't just place numbers out. Like, the whole point is that you need to build out, like, it's another tableau builder. You need to build things out in 1 through 13 essentially, but then you substitute out. Is a really cool thing. We'll talk about that in a second. It's a really neat mechanic. I thought it was very smart. But, like, you're basically building out your tableau, but you can't just place numbers in, be like, oh, I'm going to place this one here. Like, they have to be on the table. Like, so something has to be played for you to be able to play something before or after it. And so you can't just be like, oh, I'm placing this 8. Like, that's easy. I got an 8. I'm placing it. Well, no, I can't, because it's not out on the table, and I need, you know, there's some dynamics there. And then also your cards become your market purchasing power. So, like, the numbers on the cards are like how many, like, if you're trying to get something from the market, because you have the, you know, the 13, there's 13 different disciples in here, right? Because Judas is in the mix, but there's also Matthias, and again, we'll talk about that in a second. But so you're trying to, like, get these cards and use them as money to be able to buy cards out of the market, to be able to get them into your hand and play them into your tableau in order to build. So it's got this really neat puzzly thing. Plus, there's take that elements where it's like, you know, you're skipping at someone's turn, or you're you know, taking a card for them, you know, those kind of things. And it's like, oh, dang, like, you know, and so I found it to be a really enjoyable play. One I definitely want to get with the new rules, and for you and I to sit down and play. Because I had fun, and
I did too.
And it was a learning curve, but it was a very fun little game. So
yeah. Just to further speak on what you were saying about the numbering. So essentially what happened was, like, I would have 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, and then I have a hand of 3 cards, and then I draw one, and I'm like, oh, I don't have a 9 out. Or let's say if I had 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, and I draw one and it's a 10, one of the disciples with a 10 on it, and I'm like, oh, I need a 10. I just set it down. Well, that was an illegal move, because I would have needed a 9 to be able to put it out there, because I would need the numbers to connect it, essentially. And so we just kept drawing that, and I was like, oh yeah, I don't have a 5 out there yet. I'll put it down. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't have a 6. I was like,
Yeah.
this game is super easy. And you're like, wait a minute. Wait
I
a
think we're doing it
minute.
wrong.
No, 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 no. We need
Yeah.
that. And so
Yeah.
we realized later, but yeah, all in all, everything that you said is true. And I felt the same way. And one of the other things cool that is, so you have to lay your cards out. And so if I had a 1, 2, 4, 6 out there, and then I have a 7 in my hand, I have a 7. But you have the goal is to get them all in order, 1 through
Yeah.
13, right?
Yep.
And so you have
Well,
one of your
sort of. Yeah.
yeah,
Let's just throw that out there now, because
yeah,
here's the deal: you're gonna get 2 through 13, but once you have Judas out, you actually substitute Judas out for the single Matthias card, and that's how you win the game. So you win the game by having 1 through 12, but the number 1 card is set out at the beginning of the game, and that's Matthias. And so you're gonna play 2 through 13, and when you finally hit that in consecutive order, and you get Judas into your tableau, you can now, at that point in time, substitute him out and
right.
put Matthias at the front of your line, and you win 1 through 12, which I thought was actually a really
Yeah.
cool like nod to how God did that, from that, Judas, obviously the betrayer, and then his
Yep.
replacement. And
Yep.
I don't know. I thought that was just a really creative
Yeah.
way to like win the game, because you're like, how do I get the 1? Oh, I have to have 2 through 13. And then once I lay that Judas card down, I can now substitute and switch him out and
Yeah,
place
so
Matthias
good.
and win the
So
game. It
so
was a
good.
really,
Super
really neat little touch. So yeah,
super
so
cool.
sorry, you can
Oh no,
continue
you're
now.
good. But what happens is as you're putting your cards out, they're not essential. They're not in order
No.
all the time. So you might have 2, 4, 5, and then 7, 8, 9 or something. You got to get them in order, however. So and so one of your turns, your actions, you can move up to 3 cards to place them in right order.
Yeah.
So it's instead of like spinning cards and getting more, putting them out there, you're just gonna reshuffle your tableau to put it in the correct order. So yeah, there's
Yeah,
some
because you
strategy.
always have to place a card to the left.
Right,
So
right,
what Ray is saying is that I might have 2, 4, or excuse me, 2, 3, 4, and then I can't even do an example.
right.
But
Yeah, right.
the way things are coming in, you might just end up with a sequence that's a little bit out of order. And it happens all the time because you have to place the card next to the card that's there, and there's just it's hard to explain without showing everything, and we're not
Right.
all technologically savvy, so we can show you everything and do all that.
Yeah.
But it definitely plays in. Like you're gonna have to rearrange your tableau. There's
Yep.
no way around it. So you're gonna be spending turns rearranging your tableau, and getting that in order. So yeah, that it was fun. It was a brain
Yeah.
burner. It was more puzzly than I had expected it to be.
Sure was.
Once we kind of got out of the activity phase where we were like, we're just placing cards, and realized the puzzle, it was like, oh yeah, that's not as easy as just putting things down. Like, because at first we're like, what's the that's the challenge. And so yeah, that's 12 by Rosh Games, designed by Stephen Foster. Super good. The dude's a great designer. So when this game comes out, pick it up. I'm telling
Yeah,
y'all,
it'll be
you'll
worth
be
it.
happy. Yep, you'll be happy with that. So,
Yep.
super cool, and definite 2 thumbs up recommendation. Seal of dopeness for both these games. They both have earned the seal of dopeness.
Yep.
And so yeah, so that brings us to our final game, where we're gonna talk about the Great Commission strategic card game. I have lights there, so you can't even read that unless I hit the shiny.
Yeah, shimmering.
Now, man, we're going to talk about this game, Ray. So I just noticed our time. We might not even be able to finish the rest of our conversation because we're going to talk about this game. So
Yeah.
we're at the 42-minute marker here
Yeah.
in our recording. But no, the Great
Good.
Commission strategic card game. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I want to start off by this. Ray and I got ambitious, and we're like, we're going to play all 3 of these games at one time. And we're going to start with, we'll start with Line of Judah, then we'll go to 12, and then we'll go to the Great Commission.
Right.
Because, we're gamers. We can handle it. We got the first 2 knocked out. We got to the Great Commission, and we were like,
Hold up.
like, yeah, like, hold up. Yeah, that's good. And we were not following it, and we were just kind of struggling. We tried. We're like, we're not catching it. We're not catching the
Hmm.
game. We're not catching the thing. We're watching how to play videos. I had watched some playthroughs by, or part of a solo playthrough with Sam Healy. I'd watched a demo or earlier in the day, so I felt like I had some understanding of the game, and we just weren't. It wasn't connecting with us, and so
Nope.
we were like, you know what? Instead of forcing this and being like, rah, like, it's not the game's fault. It's probably ours. It's late at night. And we've even though these games aren't super heavy, trying to get 3 games in that you hadn't played, and again, late night, we were just trying to get things done because we wanted to have content for you guys. And so
Right.
this is the
Right.
sacrifices that we are willing to make. We will play great games for you.
Yes.
And so we put it down. And then the reason why we're recording this morning is because during our normal recording slot, we decided, hey, you know what? We're going to bring the Great Commission back out, and we're
Mm.
going to learn this game, and we're going to play it. And I'm
We're gonna
glad we
do
did.
it. We're gonna succeed, and we're
Yeah.
gonna make it.
Yeah.
And on the
Y-
back end of those 2 games, which are strategic, lot lighter, easy to get into, we
Yeah.
jumped into this one, and it was like, whoa,
Yeah.
this is way different.
It
Whoa.
is by no means light at all.
Yeah.
And Ray and I, when we get together, this is a discipleship thing for us too. Like our
Mhm.
conversations, like we lean in, right? Like this is not just
Yes.
us sitting down and playing games. We talk about our walks, we talk about our struggles, we talk about what's going on,
Yeah.
and work through things in life. Like so I value that time. So again, it's not just us trying to sit down and learn 3 games. It's a full night of conversation, of walking through
Fellowshipping
things.
together.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so there's all of that that's happening, and at play. And so eventually your brain just kind of hits a point where it's like, I cannot input any more information, so try again tomorrow, beep.
Yep.
And so we wanted to come back to it and just say, okay, we're going to focus just on the Great Commission because we want to give the game a fair shot. And I am super glad we did.
Hmm.
Okay, so there is a lot going on in this game.
Hmm.
Um, just even the setup, you're kind of going through it. It's a cooperative game, and
Yep.
and it's so it's a cooperative game. It's designed by Paul Snuggs and Simon Amadeus Pilario, which we have had them on the show actually
Yeah.
before the
Great guys. Great guys.
before the game all dropped, and so we interviewed them, and that was a lot of fun. But so like we wanted to give this game its shot, right?
Hmm.
And it's interesting because there's like they give you this rule book and it's a how to play, and this rule book also has a QR code for like the full rule book, so you can get like a more advanced rule book than this rule book.
Yeah,
Um,
which is going to be necessary.
which is going to be necessary. Yeah. So,
Yes.
this came out of the word for word Bible comic that Simon runs, and they made a game out of the comic books that he does, which the comic books are like the art, everything, all the art in the game is from all that.
Yeah,
Um,
phenomenal.
really, really cool stuff. So I definitely want to encourage you to check out the word for word Bible comic for sure. But also this game, right? And so the rule book was a little. It was a little daunting, right? But like, we're
Hmm.
going through the setup, you get everything set up, you're trying to kind of figure out how things work and all that. And again, it's a co-op, and it's going to have those kind of co-op-y elements where there's something that's creating the tension in the game, and that tension is growing. And in this case, it's trouble cards, and these
Right.
trouble cards are going to accelerate the tension in the game, because if you're not dealing
Yeah.
with the trouble, your church starts to die because you're
Yeah.
ignoring the trouble in your church, right? So you're gonna have a lot of these co-op elements that are there, and then there's blessings that are the opposite, right? These bonuses. These are the coolest looking cards too, by the
Yeah,
way.
they're really good. Yeah.
They have
You
a
really
really
feel
cool
blessed
shine.
when you get one of those. That's for sure.
Yeah, and there's different ones. There's ones that you play like immediately. There's ones that you play into your hand that you can play to use later. There's gifts that actually
Hmm.
equip. They become something that you have for the whole game. So there's different
Yep.
types of blessings. But it was one of the things, and Ray and I talked a lot about this. The language is a little hard to catch,
Yes.
right? Like if we were not people who played games, it would have been very challenging to kind of
Yep.
figure out what's what, because some like the rule book, instead of saying blessing, it says gift, and then the card says gifting. And so you're trying to like, wait, what is that? Oh, well, okay, well, this equip isn't in the glossary. Well, we had to assume that that meant something that goes with you. And then eventually, as we would go through, it started to make more sense and things
Mm-hmm.
start to fit thematically. So there was a lot of that for us where we had to kind of sort out and use some what we kind of called like gamer instinct to discern
Mm-hmm.
how things worked. Now the full rule book may have expounded, and it may have been a much better description on those things, but we really were trying to work through some of that language stuff and get it situated and well, what does this do? And Ray is very intuitive, and he's a rule book guy. So Ray, it was funny because at
Mm-hmm.
one point I had the rule book and Ray was watching a how to play video, and I'm like, this feels super reversed. Like, I don't know what's going on here, but we have
Yeah.
reversed this.
Yeah.
But the game plays over 7 rounds, and those rounds are indicated by these events. And you have events that are made up of good early years, bad early years, and then good later years and bad later years. And those
Mm-hmm.
events are either ongoing effects or something that happens immediately. And man, like those events can really like shift the gameplay for
Yeah.
sure. And everyone has a starting location, which is their church, and their church has an effect that is either ongoing or, well, it's always ongoing, but it like something you can do on your turn, like a one time type thing, like you're just going to use your church there. Or like mine was, I got to any of the Jewish or Gentile specifications, I could ignore them, so there's
Mm-hmm.
certain cards that trigger based on those things and like different numbers and all that. And so you have this starting church, and you start with 7 spirit points essentially in your church, and that's the health of your church. And you're trying to stay healthy, right, as a church, which is thematically, man,
Yeah, thematically
really
it's
cool.
there. Yeah, it was really good.
Super
So
cool.
and
Add some
just
stuff. Yeah.
yeah, to the just the overview of the game itself as the Great Commission, like if you don't know what the Great Commission is, I would say jump in your word
No doubt.
and figure that out, because every good Christian, every Christian should know, because that's what we're called to, is to go and spread the word, the good news of Jesus Christ. And so that's what you're doing in the game, and you're the early church starting a church, and you're growing your church, and that's essentially what you're doing, is you're going out and you're going to be commissioning your church members to go and spread the gospel and get more people to faith in your church. And so there's a mechanic that we'll talk about here with the point systems, and you have to overcome. But with that, gosh, I'd lost my train of thought, just
You're
like
doing
an
good.
old person who drinks tea in the morning. um I
Mm.
yeah, so yeah, just to kind of piggyback off what you were just saying, there was a steep learning curve getting into it, because the setup is there, and then there's a lot of icons here, there's a lot of language on each card, there's your commissioning them and tapping them, and there's, so the different rounds are your action phase. Well, the first phase is when you actually what is the
Well,
very first,
the event phase, it goes event
the event phase
phase.
starts, the action
Yeah.
phase, and then the troubles phase. And so it does have a helpful player card once you understand what each one is, what each phase is, and what that represents. And it seemed like there was just a huge learning curve to get into the game, to get going. We had to keep diving back into the rule book and into
Yeah.
the iconography chart to check out to see what was what, and it didn't always quite make sense to us, which led to a little bit of frustration and trying to figure out, like, can I do this thing? Is this even possible? And
Right.
how am I going to be able to execute this? If does this work? And we just kept asking, is this possible? Is this,
Mhm.
like, are we able to do this, or is this something illegal? And eventually, as we kept rolling, like Joe said, yes, we got into it, and it turned out to be very fun. But
Yeah.
I was joking at halfway through, because like I started catching it, and I was like, okay, I'm getting it now, and I see it, and it started revealing itself to me, and I was excited about it.
Yep.
And I was like, Joe, it's like there's a game, it's a puzzle to
Yeah.
get into the game. And I was like,
Yeah.
and we're figuring it out. Like we're breaking the puzzle down, and now we're getting into the game, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's great now. And so once we did catch it, man, it was super fun. And
Yep.
I really enjoyed it. It's one like I will definitely play again.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's challenging,
It
it's a good
is.
one, and we lost to the game,
Mm-hmm.
but we were close enough to where we felt like, man, maybe if we played again, we probably could do it.
Right.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
um,
Well, it's almost like Coffee Rush in that regard, right? Where you got to take the bad customers. Sometimes you got to like
right.
you're going to have trouble in your church and you just can't deal with it, but maybe you have to go cuz the whole point is you have like a deck made up of just like ordinary people, right? Like this isn't the full deck, this is just part of it. And you set it up and it's 12 cards per person, right? So in a 2-player game, you got 24 people cards, and then you have 4 of these like activity cards, which are kind of like these things. They're like free bonuses that you can use on your turn and all that kind of stuff. And so you have 4 per person, so there's like 8. So in a 2-player game, you have 32 cards in the people deck. And the whole thing that you need to do is you need to reach all the people in the people deck. And so
Hmm.
that's how you're going through. And so you have to like balance your actions. Like, are we going to deal with the troubles? Like, am I going to discern the trouble? Which means if it's face down, I'm going to flip it over. And then am I going to like do intercession on this? And I'm going to actually deal with the trouble and get it
Hmm.
removed, right? Because if you don't deal with it and it's face down, it's going to cost you 2 spirit points. If it's face up during the trouble phase, you're going to trigger the trouble effect. Right. And so some of them you just want to get rid of. Like I had a bad combo at one point where I had a face up one that says like in the troubles phase, lose 2 spirit. And I had face down ones. I'm like, I can't have all that. Like my church it'll be toast, right? Like, cause I'll just in the troubles phase, I'll lose all my stuff. So you have to make these tough decisions. But I'm like, but I really want to reach the people. But I can't reach the people because I'm dealing with trouble in my church and I can't, you know what I mean? Or my people are exhausted, literally. Like there's an
Yeah.
exhaustion. This card right on the top, ironically, like exhaust this card, which means flip it fully over, in order to do a special thing. So like people are literally
Hmm.
exhausted and you got to bring them back and like there's recovery points that you get. And so it's very interesting. And like on the bottom, like when you turn the card here, that's like their recovery cost, and you can't see it here, but there's a number that's now over here, and there's recovery. But everyone in the deck has a resistance to the gospel, and so you're basically commissioning people based on their faith value. This is a faith 4, and I'm commissioning people, and I can commission up to 3. So I want to create a faith value that is going to be larger than the resistance value, and there's ways the resistance value comes down with certain cards and all that. And so I'm trying to create a higher faith value than a resistance value, but then those people are commissioned and I have to recover them. And so like there is a lot of choices
Yeah.
to have to
With
make
the
in the game.
with a very limited number of movements, because you only get
Correct.
2 actions
Yep.
per player in your church, but you're trying to find the synergy in your cards,
Correct.
because each card has a talent, and that's essentially like a free movement of whatever it does, and so you're trying to
Yep.
find ways to get more actions. But yeah, that's a huge tension in the game.
Yep. And everyone has a leader card as well. So you start out with like 6 cards, I think, and a leader. So you start out with was it 6 a 6 in an activity and a leader, so you get 7
Yep,
8
I
cards
believe
total
so.
essentially. I can't exactly remember, I'd have to look that back up. But so y'all have a leader and the leader has abilities, but then dude, like people are dying in your church because of
Yeah.
persecution, and like all this kind of stuff, and you can send people to other churches. So I could send people to Ray because I'm like, Ray, on your turn you could really benefit from this, and it really worked out. Actually, Ray started sending me people because my church was just getting gobbled up. And so Ray was sent, hey, would this benefit you? Actually, yes, it would, because that's going to allow me to do XYZ thing. And so
Yep.
he could actually, as an action, send up to 3 ready members or activities
Hmm.
once per round, and it's like a free send, so you can send these ready members, and then they're active in the next round. And a church may spend an action for their immediate arrival. So what happens if like something gets sent to you, or you have won the commissioning, right, where you've had the faith value higher than the resistance value, they go kind of into a holding, like Ray jokingly said, the new members class, they go into this holding and then they come and they can join. But when someone sends you something, you can actually spend one of your 2 actions, because like Ray said, everyone gets 2 actions per church, right? You have 2 actions that you're dealing with, and so you can spend one of those 2 actions to make those people come in immediately, and
Yep.
then they're usable, right? So now you could spend an action to do it. There is a lot of thinkiness to this game.
A lot, and it plays simultaneously is
Yep.
what it says in the rule book. But when we first got going, there was like no way for us to figure out how that's going to work out. So I basically took my turns, and then, or took one of my actions, and then Joe, you took one of your actions,
Yep.
and then, but as it got going, like it's wild. The game almost played like an engine builder, because it was the further we got in the game, the
Yep.
more that we got going, and the
Yep.
more that we were like understanding, and so that simultaneous play
Yep.
came into effect, where
Yep.
we both were just doing things, and it was like, oh, hey, you need this, I'm going to pray for your church so that you
Yep.
can get more spirit points and give you some blessings, because I see that you need help. So
Yeah.
there was that synergy that started to build. So I really feel like the negative of the game was the getting into it, the language,
Yeah.
the rule book, the trying to overcome that barrier of understanding of what the icons were and how the things work. And if that was tightened up, if there was a way to easier get into the game and get going, it
Hmm.
would be phenomenal, like outstanding. But it's worth it to take that time to figure
Yeah.
it out. Go through the FAQ sheet, watch the playthrough videos, and get that full rule book, because
Yeah.
the game is definitely fun. And like I said, it was challenging, but something that's created a desire for me to get it back out to the table.
Yeah, I was definitely thankful for the FAQ and for some of the questions. Like even some, there was questions even in the Christian Board Gamers group. So like when I actually searched like the FAQ, like the Christian Board Gamers group came up and there were questions, and that's when we learned more about the blessings. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And now I understand how that works more. Like the FAQ was very, very helpful for us, but we had to dig a little bit. And again,
Yep.
this is, if you're a gamer, use your gaming instinct and things are going to start to click. That's what happened with us. We're like, okay.
Yep.
And then we were like, well, thematically, this would also make sense. And then when we confirm,
Right.
we confirm it through the FAQ or through the rule book, and it's like, all right, cool, we were playing this correctly,
Yep.
because we had that instinct, because we also looked at it thematically, and we're like, well, this would make sense thematically, for XYZ thing to happen. So, yep, all right, cool, got it. But I agree. Honestly, I was not sure because, like, I mean, Ray will tell you, I was like, man, like, I am,
No, you weren't having it. You're like, I
yeah,
really want to like this game. I'm really trying
yeah,
here.
yep,
And it took a little while, but once it
yep,
got going, it was like,
yeah.
okay, yep, I do like it.
Yeah, cause I was like, man, like it's just, again, the on ramp, like Ray said. But once it all clicked, I feel like now I could teach it. You know what I mean? I
Right.
feel like now I could teach the game. I think I know enough. And yeah, you might come up with some cases where you're like, oh, wait, what's that? But I feel like I could teach the game. I feel like I could walk people through it and give them a good on ramp for the game right now. And it would be something that people would understand and be able to
Right.
get into. And so, but yeah, I went from like almost like a wave of emotion where at first I'm like, dude, this like, nothing's clicking here for me,
Yeah.
to like, okay, definitely seeing it, definitely catching it. I think Ray caught it a little bit before I did with some of the things, which was very helpful. And then like once I got by the end, I'm like, all right, yeah, bro, nope, love this. Like this is
Yeah.
great. I actually really like the tension in this. I'm having a lot of fun. We were having a great time because again,
Yep.
now from a discipleship standpoint, we're talking and we're like, oh man, that's so thematic. Like, oh, we really love that. And like, so then it drew out that conversation, which you love, right? And so
Right.
I would definitely say, and I'm going to throw this out there, if you have gamers in your world that love games, that are good with co-ops, not everyone is, but likes a co-op, but that isn't a believer, honestly, I would tap into this game because I think
Mm.
it's so puzzly and it gives them a big enough challenge where you might be able to generate some really cool conversation because you
Yep.
could be like, this works this way because this is the reality. This
Right.
works this way because this is what's the Bible actually teaches. So what
Yep.
you're experiencing in this game is kind of what we feel as believers, right? And
Yeah.
this is the early
Yeah.
church. And at one point, literally, Ray was like, "Dude, dealing with trouble in your church is rough." And it's like, and you say it out loud, and you're like, "Because dealing with trouble in your church is rough." It's like
Yeah.
that's real. And so,
Yep.
for sure, like that a lot. It was a lot of fun. Again, it took me a minute. There's no question. And I can kind of get into a little bit of like not curmudgeon. I'm always trying to stay optimistic, but I was like, dude, what in the world? Like, why am I not catching it? And I
Yeah.
mean, I'm studying I had the rule book versus Ray, which is odd
Mm.
because normally I'm like, whatever, bro, we'll figure this out, and I'm like, I'm in the rule book and I'm sitting here like reading, like studying my player card, looking at all the icons. And then it was like, all of a sudden it was like you had that Matrix moment where it was like, oh, and everything just clicked. And I was like,
Yep.
I understand. I got it. I think I get this much more. And that's when things really amped up. And we did lose, but I was talking with the designers and they were like, they're like, did you win? I was like, no, we lost. They said we have 5 cards left. And like, honestly, for your first play, that's not bad. And I was like,
Mm.
yeah, no, I felt like there was things that we could definitely have done differently.
Yeah.
And so, we learned that pretty quickly. We're like, oh, sometimes you're just going to have to let the trouble be, even though it's going to
Right.
sting a little bit. But I need
Yeah.
to get about this commissioning and focus my energy there.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Certainly, as coming back to it, I think I saw the troubles in the church as something that had to be dealt with every round because I didn't want to lose spirit in the
yep,
church, and
yep,
I was worried about that, and so I kept figuring out that was like my biggest focus when really the biggest focus has to be, hey, we need to commission and go spread
commission.
the gospel. And sometimes you just got to let those troubles go,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to take some hits on your church and then come back later, because as you commission, you're going to get more which the more that I talk about, the more I think about it,
Yeah.
like the aspects of the
Yep.
game, the more that I love it, because they hit it on the head so well with the theme of the game and what happens in churches and building a body of believers and the people who are more resistant to the gospel. But yeah, essentially, as you build your church out more and you get more people commissioned, you're going to have more faith and people to be able to deal with the trouble in your church. And you're going to be able to do more because each person is going to have more of a talent to be able to create a synergy within your church to
Yep.
deal with those things. So even though you're limited in those 2 actions and sometimes 3 based on events or different things, you will be able to get through more. And I think that's where would be my advice to myself. Say like, hey, don't worry every single round about the troubles cards or the troubles. Like, let's commission and see how we can build our church is going to
Yep.
be the main focus, and got to keep that the primary thing. And
Yep.
and don't count out prayer, because in any game, if
Oh
prayer is
yeah.
an option,
Right.
prayer is a must, because
Right.
you're gonna get you're gonna get blessings to
Yeah.
equip, to enhance, to
Yep.
help out. And so just like in real life, man, don't give up on prayer. You got to make sure you're praying
Oh
regularly,
yeah.
and so is the truth in the game as well. You got to make sure you're praying regularly,
Yeah.
because it's going to be a big component to help you win.
Absolutely. And it was fun. Again, conversationally, Ray's like, bro, I'm going to pray for your church right now. So that's going to get you this. And oh, you can actually take a blessing too, because this is how I'm praying, and it was just like really cool to like have those kind of conversations. And I had a person, a member in my church that actually was like a, kind of a prayer warrior. So when I would pray, I would get extra, spirit points and different things.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, as you building up your church, you can actually do more, and you
Yep.
can utilize more. And so your tableau can get pretty big and things get rolling. So overall,
Yeah.
it was very thematic, very fun. Definitely recommend it. That's the Great
Yep.
Commission strategic card game that's put out by Word for Word Bible comic crew. And so definitely want to recommend the game, even though, it has that learning curve. But once it clicks, man, they nailed it from a thematic standpoint and from a gameplay standpoint. And it was just a lot of fun. We had a blast.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I'm so glad that we came back to it and actually spent the time and really, and like Ray said, like at first I'm like, I just don't know, but we spent the time, we leaned in and we're like, I want to like this game. Like, I believe there's a good game in here somewhere. Like, I just have to find it. It's not the game's fault.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they can tighten things up in the rule book. And the cool thing is we get to talk to them about that kind of stuff and just be like, maybe that's there. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it wasn't clicking in my brain, but or our brain. Cause we felt like there were some things, but outside
Yeah.
of that, like I said, once these things click and you start using your spidey senses, your gamer intuition, things start to click. You're like, okay, I understand this. Got it. Cool. This is fun. We're out here feeling like we're doing a thing, building a church. And it was kind of like, oh, we lost, but we won't lose next time.
Yep. That's right.
Like we were
That's
ready to
right.
come back at it.
We're going to spread that
Yeah.
gospel.
So
Everybody's going to get saved.
no doubt. So hey, we actually had a great time talking about all 3 of those games. So again,
Yeah.
Line of Judah through Gospel Games, 12 Disciples Edition with Roush Games, and the Great Commission Strategic Card Game through Word for Word Bible Comic. Check out all 3 of these games, guys. I'm excited, man. God's doing things in the faith gaming space. Pumped. I think that there's great things out to come. I'm excited to get Meek Heroes Victory Reborn out there, man. So like, I'm excited about what's out ahead, man. God's doing some really cool things in the gaming space,
Yes,
but
he
we're well
is.
over an hour, and we're continuing to talk. So I'm actually curious to see if any emojis come out of this episode. If you're in our Discord, get in the Discord, go to the Christian Board Gamer server. We've had some people in the group making like emojis based on these podcasts. It's absolutely incredible that they're awesome. This community
I
is
got
so
man,
good.
I got to connect more
Yeah,
on that. You know,
it's
I've
so
gotten
good.
off social media. I try to been
Yeah.
really intentional with my time to not be on the internet and spend time with my family and things that I'm doing. But I keep hearing you talk about, and I do jump and see from time to time,
Yep.
and great conversations are being had. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh man, this is one that I think that I need to start leaning into more and spending more time just vibing with the people on there, man, and getting in the conversations, because it is a lot of fun happening on there. So
It is great conversation. But yeah,
yeah.
people are like grabbing things from the podcast and creating emojis. Like we have a cat overlord emoji. There's the burrito
So good.
emoji. There's a dope emoji. Like someone made it so it says dope. Like it's awesome, dude. It's so good. And I'm gonna leave you with this. The other Thursday, I was at YFC at the rec center, and I had one of our staff, her daughter goes to like our like teen night or whatever, and she goes, "Hey, go up to my daughter and ask her what she said about your face the other day." And I was like, huh, I'm not sure I want to do that, right? So I walked up and I said, "Hey," I said, "Maya," and she said, "What?" I said, "Your mom told me to ask you about what you said about my face," and she started cracking up. I'm like, okay, this is gonna. She said that I have chronic baby face, bro, and I was like, what? She's like, you got these little pudgy red cheeks. She goes, I bet you if you didn't have a beard, and I was like, oh, if I shave my beard off, I look like I'm 12. So I just learned that I've never even been told this. I'm 45. I was told that I have chronic baby face. I want to leave you with that. I hope you guys have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for listening to this. And if you're watching on YouTube, thanks for putting up with my chronic baby face and all that jazzerific jazz. But as always, we want to leave out with Matthew 5:16. Let your light shine before others so that they may see your good works and glorify our Father who is in heaven. Let's give him Jesus. Let's have a great week, man. Until next time. Peace.
Peace.